For the second part of the remote viewing of the targets for the black sites of the Black Operations Group, because these black sites are run by this group of secret military and other agents, psionics, type of field operations agents out in the field, research facility. I got research facilities, multiple exploration of anti-gravitic technology, seeing these pyramid structures with black surfaces and black substances attached to these rectangular, square-shaped bases, consistently underground bases or surface level bases being built on sand platforms to stabilize them underground or on the surface. U.S. built military facilities, experimental facilities, of course. This is all experimental, being built in Western U.S. and remote areas. This continues with this pattern. And these black site bases, rectangular, square, have the pyramids attached to them, creating 0-point energy frequency, extracting free energy to be free of the surface level power grid systems, to not be reliant on power grids anymore, to power their own facilities. That's why they're doing all these experiments. That's why they're generating 0-point energy with these pyramids attached to the bases. This is ancient knowledge they have from the past, going back all the way to Atlantis, when pyramids were being produced worldwide in free energy systems, energy grids connected to ley lines. So this goes back to Atlantis. The Black Operations Group has knowledge of Atlantis, has knowledge of how these pyramid systems worked beforehand, and they're just reproducing and replicating the same technology in modern military subterranean underground facilities. And it's successfully being done, generating free energy, free grid systems, free energy grid systems that do not require being connected to power lines, power stations, or power grids on the surface of the planet, totally independent of that, running their own facilities, quantum computers, closed circuit technology on the quantum scale. So all of their communications and data are encrypted, cannot be hacked. They're working on photonic technology as well in these research facilities and labs. And for some reason, the moon keeps on being shown, that these pyramid base facilities are facing the moon. They're researching the moon, tracking something on the moon. The moon, the satellite that orbits Earth and is locked with Earth orbit. Something is going on the moon, and that is being tracked by the Black Operations Group operatives, researchers, scientists in these pyramid, rectangular, square base facilities underground. They're tracking the moon. They're looking at activity going on the moon. What's happening on the moon concerning UFOs, what extraterrestrial groups are coming out of the moon, what facilities are on the moon. They're quite interested in seeing what the moon itself does as an operational device. What the moon is, what its purpose is, what's inside the moon, what other bases are on the moon, who's coming and going from the moon. The Black Operations Group is tracking moon activity, which UFOs come in and out from the moon, which bases, which locations, the parameters, the structure of the moon. What was the moon originally designed to do? Why is it locked with Earth orbit? Why doesn't the moon not switch sides? What is the true purpose of the moon? So they're tracking that information, they're studying it. There's information coming in about The Black Operations Group not wanting to be discovered, not wanting to be physically tracked where their facilities are underground, because there's information coming out about their locations in various portions of discoveries. There's also discoveries being made about other ancient pyramid systems on Earth, the Moon, and Mars, how these pyramids were energy generators with electromagnetic energy that can produce other free energy devices. So they've further discovered new things about pyramids and how that works, and they're integrating that with their own pyramid structures attached to these square, rectangular, octagonal base facilities. They seem to still be shooting down UFO crafts and targeting them with laser systems, scalar EMP weapons, as what was seen from the previous target. So they have surface level action going on, and they have underground action going on in these multiple levels of these base facilities connected by maglev trains, connected by other various types of transportational systems that is anti-gravitic in nature. These facilities can transport people between different personnel to the different facilities. It's interesting that these facilities, that the moon is above these facilities. That's what the remote viewing modeling was showing. The moon is consistently above the pyramid square base facilities, and this is all happening experimental in Black Ops experimental working projects on Earth. These facilities are on Earth, but there's a connection to the moon in ancient technology. The moon itself is a device that was active at one point, flying, doing something important in planetary alignment, planetary stabilization, planetary connections, orbits, frequency, energy, surface structures, underground structures. That seems to be the commonality with these remote viewings. So these remote viewings are showing similar things over and over. The connection to the ancient technology of the moon, Mars, Earth, perhaps ancient pyramid structures on the Earth, like the Alaska Black Pyramid. I'm sure the Black Operations Group and the military have studied that and replicated it. It's just a sense that there's an interconnection to all of that technology. Free energy, 0-point generation of power generators, energy being disconnected from the surface level grid systems, not being dependent on coal and oil production anymore, to have transportation systems. They have their own internal maglev anti-gravitic transportation and rovers underground that move around, both on Earth basis, Mars basis, and Moon basis. That's a commonality to all of this. Bases are all interconnected and easy to get around to underground. Locations are not so far away from each other that you can't get to them. They're accessible through underground transportation. That's also the sense I'm getting from these remote viewings. Interconnectedness, that interconnectedness of base facilities, and more than one black site facility, several thousand of them on Earth for the Black Operations Group, and the sites that they operate, those black sites, multiple facilities, not just one facility. And they're doing things that is not lawful, it's not legally authorized per se, but elements of government systems know about this, what's going on. This is being tracked, this is being looked at, monitored, and a lot of activity happening on the surface and underground. This activity has been going on since last year and been ramping up since February to April and going through July and August as full-on activities. There's things happening, perhaps missiles something going on as airstrikes in the air, an Earth orbit connected to the moon and Mars. Everything looks at the moon. These facilities look at the moon. They look at tracking the moon. They look at tracking UFOs. They look at shooting down UFOs, collecting other extraterrestrials' technology and advancing their own modes of advanced tech in these facilities. That's also what's being shown consistently in these remote viewings for these targets. There's also frequency and energy production, figuring out how the waveform technology works, because waveforms produce and transmit data. They produce connection in system communications. So waveforms, frequencies of energy being sent and received from platform stations, that's also interconnected in this remote viewing series, communicating through frequency and energy that is not connected to the internet, the intranet, or Wi-Fi for these underground facilities. Coded communications, hiding things, keeping things subterranean, underground, keeping things in-house, so that the surface level facilities, governments don't get to know about any of this in further detail as well. Also, what I'm sensing from these remote viewing series, that this stuff is interconnected, waveform technology, energy frequency technology, quantum computing, enclosed communications, coded communications. Nothing can be hacked. Nothing goes out the door from the underground facilities. Everything is kept in-house, locked down, internal systems, more advanced systems than what's anything on the surface for quantum computing and quiet systems that cannot be infiltrated from within, cannot be tracked, cannot be hacked, cannot be looked at or monitored by satellites or radar. That seems to also be what they're working on at these black sites. Self-sufficiency, internal security communications, and locking everything down so they can't be seen or tracked by anyone. That is the end goal of their plans. Thank you so much.